What is the Green New Deal?
Green New Deal?
Never heard that term before.
An agenda to address the climate collapse, adequately, while
Okay, thanks.
If you can hear me, can you clap? Amazing. I said if you're speaking today, could you come to the...
Welcome to Foley Square. How we doing? Amazing. Hello, my friends. It is so good to see all of you. Welcome to the rally for the EPA 139. My name's Harper Stanfield. I'm the New York Vice President with AFGE Local 3911, representing EPA workers serving New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and 8 Indian nations.
And that does not sit right with me. If that doesn't sit right with you either, that's because you're a sane, rational person. Are public servants who took these jobs and stay in these jobs because they are caring people. They care deeply, and they are deeply committed to the oath they swore. Because when they became federal workers, they were committed to the public, and that informed their choice to sign this Declaration of Dissent. And I know that it informed mine.
Thank you, Susie. All right, another round of applause. Thank you, Susie. Okay, next up from We Act for Environmental Justice, the organizing manager, Sasha St. Just.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Sasha St. Just. I'm the organizing manager at We Act for Environmental Justice. We Act is a community-based organization headquartered in Harlem with a federal policy office in Washington, D.C. For the past 37 years, we have been organizing and engaging the communities in North Manhattan to advance environmental and climate justice policies and programs. We Act is here today to support the dedicated public servants of the EPA, whose work has been vital in protecting the health of our neighborhoods, our air, our water, and our future. From decades of scientific studies and the lived experiences of communities like ours, we know that people of color and low-income individuals are disproportionately exposed to and harmed by pollution and the impacts of climate change. And the EPA has been among Today, We Act sees how environment shapes people's lives, whether it's asthma rates in Harlem, climate impacts, and particularly vulnerable heat issues in the Bronx, or just general exposure to toxins and deteriorating houses. These are not abstract issues. They are happening right here and right now, in the places we live, in the places we work, and where we raise our families. We Act has been proud to collaborate with the EPA and our wonderful team in Region 2 on the issues that hit closest to our home. Together, we have monitored air quality in Harlem, worked to improve water quality in the Hudson River, and reduce bus emissions in our city. None of We Act's works happen in a vacuum. We rely on federal partners like the EPA to research, to enforce, and to build programs that helps communities thrive. The agency's role in protecting people is irreplaceable. Public service matters. Point, period, blank, that's it. The EPA's mission to protect human health and the environment is something that we must all depend on. We extends our sincere appreciation and support to the civil servants of EPA, its regional
External Affairs Director, Carlos.
Thank you everyone for coming. Welcome everyone. My name is Carlos Rondon. I'm the Director of Community External Affairs for Congressman Dan Goldman's office. Unfortunately, the Congressman was unable to be here today in person, but I'm honored to be here on his behalf and to stand in full solidarity with Local 3911 and the EPA employees who have been wrongfully placed on administrative leave. I'd like to take this moment to thank Alexa and Julia and the AFGE for organizing this event and demanding accountability and justice. Let's give them a round of applause. I think everyone here can agree that targeting federal employees, especially those who have been brave enough to challenge the corruption of this authoritarian administration, is a direct threat to the public interest and the complete abuse of office. We live in a democracy where every American, especially employees of the American government, have the privilege and the responsibility of free speech and highlighting any abuse.
Good afternoon, AFGE. Good afternoon, EPA workers. Good afternoon to every public servant out here. I want to start by saying thank you. Let's give a big cheer for the folks who are doing the hard work. I think I know about all of you. I was going to say I don't know about all of you, but I'll just say this for me. Like, I rely every day on clean air to breathe and clean water to drink and an environment that respects human health. And it is awfully hot out here, and this will almost certainly be the hottest year in human history, just like last year was. And we need a government that's paying attention to rising temperatures and rising seas. And lo and behold, we have a federal agency whose mission it is to make sure we have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink and human health in our environment, and that we watch what the science says about rising seas and rising temperatures. And it shouldn't take so much cheering to just say thank you, EPA workers, but let's start there. Thank you, EPA workers. And thank you to AFGE for organizing EPA workers to make sure that their rights are protected. So big thank you to AFGE. But thank you both for the work you do every day in your day job, showing up for the environment and for the people who need it. and for your work as organizers, standing up for your fellow workers. I guess it might be that MAGA, like Lee Zeldin, does not need clean air to breathe, or clean water to drink, or an environment that respects human health. But regardless of whether he needs it or doesn't need it, it is the mission of the Environmental Protection Agency. And I think it's important to recognize that what these 139 workers did, including the 13 of them in New York City, who I am proud to call New Yorkers of the highest order, what you guys did, what those workers did, is nothing more than call the EPA to the mission it has. That is not political, that is the opposite of political. That is defending science, that is defending human health, that is standing up to politicization. And for Lee Zeldin to turn around and suspend these workers and place them on administrative leave for nothing more than standing up for the mission of the federal agency that they committed to work for and that he is sworn to work for, is appalling. It is a betrayal of his obligation to everybody, every American who needs air to breathe and water to drink. Let's be clear, it's also a workplace violation. This is union busting. What's disgusting? What's disgusting? It really is. The ability of workers to stand up for themselves and their fellow workers and the mission that they are required to do is a sacred right in this country, and we're going to be out here fighting for it. And unfortunately, we have to collect some dots, because what Lee Zeldin is trying to do is not only destroy the Environmental Protection Agency and not only cow workers into silence, but to instill fear in people and other New Yorkers who try to show up for immigrant New Yorkers. Just speaking for a minute as somebody who was arrested by individuals in masks, not wearing uniforms or badges, not displaying the authority on which they do any arrests. The goal is to instill fear in all of us. It's to instill fear in the workplace. It's to instill fear in the immigration courts. And we are here to say we will not be cowed by this administration. We're going to show up in solidarity with our AFGE workers, with these EPA workers, with federal workers, with unions, with immigrants, with the people who need clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. We will not be cowed into fear. We will stow up and fight with you until every one of these 139 workers have their jobs back, until the EPA can do its mission, until we have a government that stands up and delivers for all of us. So thank you very much. We'll be out here in solidarity as long as it takes.
Let's go. One more time for Brad Lander, everyone. I want to thank Brad and everyone who's been in these federal buildings looking out for the most vulnerable people in our society, people coming for their mandated hearings, their immigration hearings, their court appointments, and being disappeared out of the building. It's not acceptable. Thank you.
clean water, and a safe place for their children to play. Since 1770, when EPA was created, it has stood for this idea. And we as a nation have been successful. We still have a long way to go, and the success is uneven, but we've made progress. Keep in mind, in 1969, the country faced a spectacle of lakes so polluted that they caught fire. incredibly dedicated workforce. A highly skilled group of people who chose to serve the public by following the principles of the agency. Follow the science, follow the law, be transparent, and advance justice and equity. You all know that? Follow the science, follow the law, be transparent, and advance justice and equity. The folks I met at EPA could have had jobs anywhere. They are smart, they're dedicated, and they've brought years of experience in science and other fields. But they sacrifice to serve us all. And today I want them to know we salute them, we appreciate them, and we stand with them. This administration makes the ridiculous claim that it's supposedly slashing the workforce because of waste, fraud, and well, let's just take a minute to think. What is more wasteful than taking highly trained scientists and having them sit at home? That's not a good use of their expertise or our tax dollars. I bet you don't think so either. Staff have deep experience responding to floods and wildfires, protecting us against air pollution, and making sure we get the lead out of drinking water. I would think we would all agree that it's a good idea to get lead out of drinking water. And it's wasteful to throw away those years of experience. I had the great opportunity to work side by side with the scientists from the Office of Research and Development and with leaders from the Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights in headquarters and in the regions. The Trump administration has targeted both offices and they're now decimated. Almost everyone I worked with at the Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights is now gone, on leave, coerced into taking early retirement, or fired, part of a reduction in force or credit. They were high performers, and they were working to ensure that all people have access to clean air to breathe. And when we take a sip of water, we can be confident it's safe.
My name is Emily Skydell, and I am a senior organizer with the group Food and Water Watch. We are a national nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting for clean air, clean water, and a livable future. We mobilize thousands of members across the country, including here in New York. And I'd like to also mention that I'm a proud member of the nonprofit Professional Employees Union, Local 70 of the IPTE, which represents many federal workers, including EPA workers. I'm here today to stand in solidarity with the 139 workers who were fired for holding their agency head, Lee Zeldin, accountable for protecting the environment, simply for speaking out about the EPA on issues like the fact that the EPA is undermining public trust, they're ignoring scientific consensus to benefit polluters, they're reversing the EPA's progress in America's most vulnerable communities, and they're dismantling the Office of Research and Development. Now, we've heard from multiple speakers on this. Protecting the environment isn't a partisan issue. The EPA was established under notable radical leftist Richard Nixon. So, the reality is that dozens of laws have been passed, like the Clean Air and Water Act, and it's the EPA's role
that we as AFG 3911 members deserve to be doing. All right, I have a breaking news alert. I know it's hot. I appreciate you all hanging out. If you can make it a couple more minutes, the city advocate's on the way to advocate for EPA workers, and I can't wait for him to join us. I want to thank somebody for bringing us this rat. Scabby's a great reminder of something that really disgusts me. What's disgusting? Union busting. What's disgusting? Union busting. That's right. And Scabby is brought to us today by the New York City Central Labor Council and their Chief of Staff and Mobilizing Director, Brendan Griffith, is here to talk with us.
Thank you very much.
appreciate the opportunity to say a couple words. I can't say I'm happy to be here because what we all know is that this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Although I will say any chance to stand next to Scabby, I am proud to do. So my name is Brendan Griffith and I'm with the New York City Central Labor Council. We represent 300 unions in the 5 boroughs of New York City. Those unions represent over 1 million. It has no value, and that is a lie. Keep that hand up. If you are tired of the federal government saying that federal workers have no place, please keep your hand up. And if your hand is not in the fist yet, make it into a fist. Because brothers and sisters, the labor movement will fight today, tomorrow, and as long as it takes until you get the respect that you deserve. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. I love that energy. I love the work that the CLC does on a daily basis for union labor in New York City. Thank you, Brendan. It's been really inspiring to see the turnout from our coalition, from the larger labor movement today. Okay, this is one giant army linking hands together. Okay, we only do this together. We're stronger together, and we have another
professional staff at the City University of New York. We represent 30,000 workers in every borough to decarbonize the City University of New York. We're fighting for the same things you are. And I just want to lift up 2 threads that I've heard today. One, it's profoundly anti-science what the EPA director has done, right? You heard earlier from other speakers the profound betrayal of the mission of the EPA. And all that the workers of the EPA do every day when they come to work is to try to uphold the science. And we are experiencing the same thing at CUNY. We have had 72 federal grants defunded and canceled, representing millions of dollars. Why? Because those grants don't comport with the agenda of the MAGA movement that has now captured the right wing, the Republican Party. So that's placing at risk not just my own members' ability to continue to do their research, but our students, our postdocs, our grad students who work in those labs every day. And here's the second point. When they go after the EPA employees who had the temerity to sign that letter, they are making a profoundly anti-labor statement. It's not just anti-science, it is anti-labor. And you heard it here before. It's union busting. That's why we have Scabantha with us here today, right?
You know, union leadership in AFGE 3911, and frankly, in the engaged, agitated sector of the labor movement to begin with. And I think a lot of, what I've learned so far and the lessons that I'm continuing to take into this work from Chris Knowles, the president of IFPTE Local 98 and the co-executive director of the Federal Unionist Network. Chris, come on up.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really honored to speak alongside so many powerful leaders in the labor movement and the broader progressive movement, the environmental justice movement here in New York. I am the president of IFPTE Local 98, which represents staff at the Army Corps of Engineers in New York and New Jersey. And I got to give the EPA and AFGE a ton of credit for inspiring my hope and any vision that any of us have that the federal sector of this labor movement could be a leading fighting force, because it was to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we today see the pursuit and fulfillment of that oath as fully consistent with holding these hypocrites and these retaliators to accountable. So just as we see the fulfillment of the oath as consistent with this work, we also see their stopping their retaliation as consistent with fulfilling their oath, because they took the same oath. So stand with federal workers. God knows there's a lot of fight ahead of us. They're not going to stop. We have to make the political cost too high for them to continue those attacks. Thank you for your solidarity. Hope we don't need to see you on the 18th, but if we do, let the numbers be too big to ignore.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the work the Federal Unionist Network is doing to grow this coalition and make the political cost too high for them to come after federal workers. Now, someone who's not my coworker, but he was in my building early this week advocating on behalf of some of the most vulnerable New Yorkers, City Advocate Jumaane Williams.
Peace Blessings up and down, everybody. How y'all doing? I'm very sorry we have to be here, but I'm happy that you're here. I just want to thank all the workers who stepped up and were brave enough to say we're not going to just sit by while people are doing things that are harming our community. So thank you to all the workers. We shouldn't be in a situation where we literally have to survive a regime. That's what's happening. We have to survive a regime. And people who are simply speaking out done to help those communities out. And that ain't right. And that's not something that's acceptable. So to all of the workers that can hear me, please, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. But in any regime in history, people were rewarded for being brave. People were rewarded for speaking up against this regime. And thankfully, he only has about 6 months left. But I implore him in this 6 months, save yourself from the disgrace. Speak up for New Yorkers who need you to speak up when they are afraid, when they are concerned, and doing more than you, showing courage to a regime that is trying to harm us. So thank you to the union, thank you to labor, thank you to those brave workers, and whether the mayor does it or not, there are those of us who are elected who are going to do the best we can to stand in the gap. Peace and blessings.
Continue advocating for them and for the American public that deserves an environment that is safe and healthy for themselves and generations to come. So I'll leave you with this. We have a couple asks for those of you in the crowd and those of you watching. Demand, ask, go to your representatives, go to our elected representatives. Ask that they make a statement on behalf of EPA workers, on behalf of EPA union members who are being unfairly retaliated against by Administrator Zeldin and the Trump administration. Demand that we get these workers back, that we get this investigation dropped, and that Zeldin recenters himself on his oath to protect human health and the environment. Can we do that? We're stronger together. If you want to join 8,000 and growing people who've already signed the EPA Declaration of Dissent, I encourage you to check it out. We have 21 Nobel laureates and a bunch of other significant academics, researchers, scientists, and a number of EPA workers. I encourage you all to look up the EPA Declaration of Dissent and consider signing. And I appreciate you all being here. Hey, when science is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! When clean air is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! When clean water is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! When clean land is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! I said, what do? Stand up, fight back! I said, what do? Stand up, fight back! That's right. Thank you, New York. Thank you all.
So with like everyone who signed who's here?
Yeah.
If you look up Stand Up for Science, EPA, it'll take you right there.
Stand Up for Science, EPA.
Thank you so much.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
I saw a lot of signs about ban fossil fuel and stuff like that. Can you tell me what kind of fuel is in that?
Can I go chat with some other people before I will?
You don't want to answer me?
Thank you, sir.
You don't want to answer me?
I will come talk to you in a second. I want to say hi to my.
Okay, I'll wait right over there.
Fired me up.
How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Running on it.
Glad to be here, man. Good, dude. Glad to be here. This is awesome.
Hey,
good job, man.
Thank you so much.
And
I'll see you soon.
I had to. He had a schedule conflict, and I made sure it passed. This is very important. This is the first time, by the way, the structure of the department of this and historically that existed. This is we should like really
Yeah, I think so. We're not doing like
yeah, that's incredible. Like,
it's just like a fly.
We appreciate your support and help us.
I
find him.
What is the Green New Deal?
Green New Deal?
Never heard that term before.
An agenda to address the climate collapse, adequately, while centering the communities that are most impacted, creating a large number of green, good union jobs for people who need them, and ensuring just equity.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe we can make a thread.
Yeah, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think we're going to have to bring people back together. Quick turnaround.
Yeah, I know. If there's another thing like this that you need to email us back to that, I don't know what the
Should be a test.
I am really happy.
But then I was like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that goes both ways. Two-way street. Yeah.
So I was raised by a scientist, so this, I think I could do this specific lane pretty easily.
I think Noah's the like storyteller, but
Yeah. Shoot me a text. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Yeah, I guess it's really good.
We'll chat. Thank you.
So, sir, this shirt says fossil fuel free.
Yeah, they're with Fridays for Future. You should go talk to them. I'm making the rounds real quick.
You don't want to talk to me?
Nice to meet you.
I'll go away.
No,
I'll go away.
let me grab somebody else, okay?
I want to talk to you because you were addressing all these. You introduce everyone.
Yeah.
Why would you talk about fossil fuel ban when you have a gasoline generator?
Believe me, I would love to have had a scabby that runs on renewables. We only had a day to turn this around. If I have more lead time next time,
So that's
we'll
your
work on
excuse?
For the generator.
Yes.
That's such small potatoes. You know what's happening? They're
look at me, I'm
destroying the
small.
EPA.
I'm small.
You're not small.
That's the only thing I can handle is small things.
Potatoes.
I can't go into these courts. Listen to me speaking. Nobody want to listen to me. That is the kind of stuff I address. The cigarette butts all around that pollute the groundwater. That's what I want to address.
I don't like that stuff either. But I think we also have to look at the big picture, right? Environmentalists still have to fly on airplanes to get to meetings, right? We still have to print stuff on paper because otherwise we're not going to be effective. Otherwise we're living in a different world than the people who are doing the most harm.
Why is a rat used so demonized? Have you ever studied rats?
That is a great question. Now I'm with you. I have no problem. I have no beef with rats. I don't know why we're all...
One of the most intelligent, innocent animals demonized to represent evil.
I'm with you on that.
Gasoline
I'm with
engines.
you on that. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Weed smoking, cigarette, throwing it on the ground.
Yeah.
Telling environmentals.
Yeah. But again, we're talking about the destruction of the Environmental Protection Agency.
But where do you start? Don't you start from the bottom?
No, because we've done that for decades, right? We've done the small things. We've done the small individual actions for decades, and look where we are in terms of crisis.
What builds this camera?
What we need to do.
Atoms. You need to understand atoms before you could understand matter.
I think we have to understand what's happening at the top.
And that is atoms. Right there, they don't realize it. All that plastic, water bottles.
I know, no.
I believe if they were more
plastic free month.
Huh?
July is plastic free.
Say again?
Plastic free month, July.
Oh, really?
A lot of folks are doing stuff on that throughout the
Can't wear orange and blue.
It's just that today the focus is on something
So you
else.
see, I figure if you're organizing,
If we can't do everything perfectly, we should still be able to do
keep an eye out on this stuff.
I believe if you had an organization that organized this group, you should set an example. That's all.
Nice to talk to you. I'm Sarah.
Lincoln.
Lincoln, nice to meet you.
I stayed. Susie, how'd you get this?
Officer Zane, not Rosado. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna run out. Where do you want to meet? We can meet at.
I got you.
What on the way?
When it's completed.
Yeah, when I can meet you.
Oh, I thought you were saying don't unhook. I was like,
No,